Hey everyone, welcome to the Happy Flosser podcast. My name is Billy Lunt. I am your host, and I am here to talk to you about all things dental hygiene to support you on your journey through the dental hygiene program. Welcome, so glad to have you. You've finished your semester and now you're on break. Your final exams have been completed. You've met all of your requirements. Clinic is done. You can check all these boxes that would signify that you had a successful semester and now you can take a little break and recharge. In this episode, I'm going to talk about some of the things that you should do while you're on break so that when you come back for your next semester, you are ready to go. You have everything in place and you've set yourself up for success. I hope you all take a moment to reflect on all that you've learned this semester. Let's go over some pointers. Hey, if you're in hygiene school or just got your acceptance letter to hygiene school, I've got a new course to help set you straight right out of the gate when you first start your program to help ensure a successful transition from the first semester to the second semester and to the finish line. I will help you strategize all the key strategies that you need, understand what the challenges are, and overcome all the obstacles. Learning in dental hygiene school is different than any other program. You've got a lot of assessments that are evaluation style. You need to be able to plan and prepare for that and be successful so that you can become an RDH. And I'm here to do that for you. I have a new course, How to Be a Successful Dental Hygiene Student. You can click the link right in the show notes and I'll show you how to get it done. Congratulations on entering this profession. The first thing you want to do, and this might seem kind of obvious to most of you, but some of you need to hear it, is to catch up on some well-needed rest. Oftentimes, the week leading up into your final exams, you'll tend to stay up a little bit later and push yourself to cram some of the information in. And this can cause a little sleep deprivation. And so, although it's hard to catch up on sleep, take some time to really implement adding a little bit of extra rest into your schedule over break. This will go a long way at helping you catch up on that sleep deprivation so that you are fully recharged when you come back to school. Now, for some of you, this might be easy to do, and for some of you, this might be a little bit more challenging to implement. But I want you to try to go to bed a little bit earlier and sleep in a little bit later. Because it's an incremental loss of sleep over those last 3 to 4 weeks, it will probably take your entire break to catch up on that sleep that you lost while getting ready for your final exams. So I say this with love and care and compassion to please try to add that into your routine over your break. The next thing I'd like you to think about doing over your break is getting some activity, getting out into some fresh air, getting out and moving. Oftentimes, when we're in school, we tend to neglect those basic rules of good sleep, good eating habits, and exercise and activity. So give yourself an intentional time that you carve out where you're actually doing some self love and getting out and taking a walk, maybe going for a bike ride. If it's snow, you can do some snowshoeing or going for a little hike. Anything that you can do to give yourself some activity. When you're studying for your final exams, you're doing a lot of sitting around, and that can really impact your body's health and wellness. So, taking that time to intentionally get out and do some activity will recharge yourself, and it might set you into a better pace for the next semester. And over time, as you develop good study habits and time management, you can find ways to implement activity into your daily routine while you're still studying as a student. But typically, especially after the first semester, I think students really need to take the time to intentionally recharge, and get themselves moving again. We tend to cram everything in at the very end and we forget all about those essentials like drinking plenty of water, getting plenty of rest, and maintaining good activity habits. So I want you to really think about ways that you can do that over your break so that when you come back to school in your next semester, you have given yourself plenty of time for stretching and moving and good activity so that your body, your gas tank is full. Think about a computer. One day or your phone, one day you open up the app and it crashes, or you open up the app and it doesn't work. Maybe your phone is on low power mode, or maybe you haven't restarted it in a while. Think about your body as the same way. You were going and going and going and going and not really stopping to think about what the needs were to be at peak performance. So, right now, I want you to, while you have the time, to kind of sit back and think about your body as needing lots of fuel. Get some activity. Get some activity in and really get the blood flowing. Make sure you get your heart rate up so that you can get yourself moving again. Oftentimes, final exams really take a toll in every area. As I've shared with many of you, my favorite quote, which has helped me so many times when I'm feeling discouraged or run down or maybe a little burnt out, is that the seeds of discouragement cannot take root in a grateful heart. So, another thing that I would like you to do during your break is to really consider all the things that you're grateful for and the opportunity to be pursuing your dreams and meeting and achieving your goals is something that you should not just take for granted. It's an amazing opportunity to have the health and well being and abilities, all those technical standards to be able to be pursuing a career in dental hygiene. And sometimes we just take things for granted until something changes our trajectory. So, if you can just take a moment and really appreciate the gift of being able to be a student enrolled in a dental hygiene program and being able to pursue such a wonderful career and profession, and having the ability to meet the technical standards and being capable of being successful in the program and reaching and achieving your goals, I think it goes a long way at helping keeping your mental state in the right place. And keeping you grateful really helps achieve that balance. So take some time to really be grateful and appreciate all that you've learned. Think about all the growth that has happened since you started on your first day. Think about everything that you've learned and all that has transpired to bring you to this well deserved break. You have had to learn an entirely new language, lots of new skills, be proficient in things that you've never done before in a very short amount of time. So consider that when you're thinking about being tired and run down and exhausted and emotional, all of those things are real because of all that you've been asked to learn and do. So taking a moment to be grateful and recognize all that you've been through and all that you've accomplished really helps you keep things in check. There's a lot to be grateful for, and there's a lot to learn in pursuing reflection. So, if you take some time to reflect on your semester, it will bring to light everything that you've really accomplished. Think about all the things that went really well in your semester. Think about all of the strengths that you have that maybe came out, things that you discovered about yourself that maybe you didn't know, things that you discovered about yourself that you need to work on, right? Maybe there's certain things that came really easy to you that you were surprised about. Or maybe there were things that were super challenging that you didn't realize were going to be that hard. Maybe you realized study habits or test taking strategies that worked for you that you had never tried before. Perhaps you discovered something about yourself that you just didn't even know. Maybe this semester further solidified your desires to become a dental hygienist. Maybe you realize that you love being a student and that you enjoy learning something new and being challenged. Whatever those things are that you discover, it's important to write it down. When you reflect on your experiences and write things down, further down the road, when you're feeling down or need a reboot, you can come back to this reflection and read all about what you were grateful for to help recenter yourself and put yourself back in the game. Life is very up and down, and some days we can start high and end low. Some days we start low and end high, and some days we're all over the place. It's important to figure out your own personal journey and what helps reset you. And oftentimes, and the research shows that when you reflect on your experiences, it helps you further develop and understand yourself. It creates critical thinking skills and depth of character. And the research also shows that when you remain grateful and you write things down about what you're grateful for, it keeps you on a positive lens, moving in the right direction, and also helps recenter your mental focus, which I think is very valuable to do during your break. So, keeping a journal and reflecting on all that you've learned and what went well this semester, what you're grateful for, is something that you can reflect back on and see your growth over the course of your time as a student enrolled in the dental hygiene program. I think you'll be really surprised at just how much you grow from your first week of your first semester to your last week of your last semester. And what a gift it would be to have that documented. So that's something that once you go out into the profession, you can come back and listen to or look at or read again and really discover that you now have a document that shows your growth over time. And sometimes we need to be reminded of our skills and what we're good at. So having writing it down and having a journal in place, it allows you time to go back and say, oh, yes, I remember that struggle. And I remember what I did to overcome that obstacle. Oh, I remember that strategy that I used and how I was able to deal with that situation. Those things go a long way. So, journaling and reflecting and taking the time to really discover all that you're capable of and what you're grateful for will go a long way. Building that habit will really help you start your next semester off in the right frame of mind, with the right type of focus and the right perspective. Another thing I want you to be sure that you take the time to do during your break between semesters is your personal relationship and support system. I want you to see people that you haven't seen and people that you've missed. And that occurs natural over the holiday season, right? But when you're intentional about really taking the time to rekindle or rebuild or maybe rejuvenate some of those relationships that you've neglected because of your time spent with schoolwork, it will really help you to rebuild those connections and just make you feel personally good inside. And then the final thing I just want to tell you is to keep an eye on your nutrition and hydration. Chronic dehydration is a real thing, and we just don't drink enough water. So, one thing that I'd like you to do while you're resting, relaxing, and recovering from your semester is to be intentional about your water intake. And don't overindulge on all the bad food. Just a little bit is enough to celebrate the season or celebrate the completion of the semester. Other than that, just be what you are, do what you do, and really enjoy yourself. as you rebuild and reconnect and reboot for the next semester ahead. Thanks so much for listening today. Join me next time when we take a look at toothbrushing instructions. If you want to see the changes in the oral health status of your patients, you want to understand on how to instruct them on the changes that they need to make, as well as how to care for their teeth in order to see those changes. We'll take a good look at the information that you're going to need in order to be effective at instructing your patient on proper toothbrushing. I hope you take a listen. I would invite you to ask any questions at all that you need answered. Sometimes questions come up when you're listening to this podcast. If you have a question, most likely someone else has the very same question. I'd be happy to answer it and would probably share it in a future podcast.